Today is the 28th Sunday of Ordinary Time, Cycle A. Jesus tells us, I have come that you might have life and have it abundantly. John chapter 10, verse 10. What does it mean to have life abundantly? The secular world defines an abundant life as one with lots of physical pleasure and possessing a lot of luxury items. The essence of God is love. Therefore, an abundant life is a life filled with love. Having many loving relationships, living in harmony with God and others, and enjoying peace and joy amid the trials of this world. Do you believe that God has called you to this type of life? He is the light of the world. He is the good shepherd. Our faith, including his teachings, give us the values to develop long-lasting, loving relationships. These values are honesty, fidelity, dependability, compassion, forgiveness, and mercy, etc. If we put on Christ, if we wear these values, we shall become more loving, more like him, Jesus. Therefore, when our mortal bodies wear out, our spiritual nature formed by love will live on, and we shall be joined to him who is love itself. As we approach the end of the liturgical year, the readings tend to have an eschatological flavor. That is, they refer to an end time and the day of judgment. Since we live in the post-resurrection era of Christ, these readings will incorporate a present and a future meaning as Christ has come but will also come again. Isaiah told the Jewish people and also tells us that after great suffering, Christ will come to his people. In the Bible, God is often encountered on high places such as mountains, on this mountain, etc. In the present, the Mass is the heavenly banquet. In the future, the heavenly banquet will be with God, angels, and saints. In the present times, God has taken away our sins. In the future, he will eliminate our pain and suffering. In the Gospel, Jesus recaps the refusal of many of the Jews to participate in the goodness of Christ, the banquet of life. He even foretold the coming destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in 70 AD by the Romans, after refusal by those first called by God. All nations are invited. In the parable, the servants went into the streets and invited the good and bad alike to fill the hall. The banquet hall is the church in the present, where good and bad coexist. When the king comes, refers to the future return of Jesus. When he finds a man without proper attire, he is bound and thrown into the darkness, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. He is thrown into the darkness of hell, where there is wailing and grinding of teeth. It would seem unfair to invite someone off the street and unexpectedly and expect him to be dressed correctly. In the parable, the wedding garment is not a literal garment. We're called, as St. Paul tells us, to put on Christ. Being at a banquet or attending Mass is not sufficient. We put on Christ when we embrace his teachings and become more loving. At least there should be a change of heart. It is not sufficient to feel you're a kind and loving person. The good tree bears good fruit, acts of loving kindness. If you had to stand before Christ today, could you recall your good